Good morning, friends. Today we'll continue with our lecture number 7 of Ethics, Integrity and Aptitude. Because of some technical issues, we have started the class a bit late, but nevertheless, the efficiency and the constitution of the class will remain same. We'll carry over our last lecture. The last lecture was regarding the values. See, the way the syllabus has been designed for UPSC, they have kept in mind what is required for you to become an ethical civil servant, where you not only have the knowledge of ethics, but you display your ethical conduct while you are doing your duty. So, first we saw the ethics. Initially, we saw the ethics. Ethics chapter, first chapter, ethics and human interface and various dimensions of it. Then we are seeing the values. The values, if we look at this, ethics and values are connected. Values are shaped by the moral ethical conduct as a general principles. These two are connected. Likewise, the third chapter, which will start in today's class itself, is your attitude. We will see that how attitude is connected with ethics and values, which is our core goal. The important goal here is to understand these chapters in an ethical manner, in a manner which is different from our core study of attitude in case of psychology or any other discipline. Ethics and values are studied in philosophy subject. But what I want to indicate here is you have to see this from a different perspective now, because if you look at it from your optional subject perspective, which is done by most of the teachers, the problem is that you will not be able to understand the essence why it has been kept in the paper 4 of ethics, integrity and aptitude. And we will see how it is different from the optional subject study of these chapters. So first and foremost, as we have studied earlier, values. We saw the values displayed by various sources and influential human beings, those who were comparable to even God, like Lord Buddha, the sources like Gita, Bhagavad Gita, the preachers like Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King Jr., Mother Teresa, Mahatma Gandhi ji. The contemporary thinkers can also be our sources of value inculcation. From these sources we can learn values. There are people in our contemporary society, either they are living or they were alive only a few years or a decade ago. These people are also quite influential if you have to shape our values. One of the most influential person in this group is our former president APJ Abdul Kalam. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, I had the opportunity to meet one of the greatest persons I have ever met in my life. Dr. Kalam, a person of humility, discipline and genius. See, that's why I keep telling you one thing. The people who are genius are simple. If you look at the great people like Dr. Kalam, Ratan Tata, he is so old, still he is going to his office, barely able to walk, but he regularly visits the office. He is one of the most successful businessmen. Then we have people like Azim Premji. You can learn charity from this person. You can learn philanthropy from this person. Philanthropy, an act of giving back to the society. We all have a target, an aim in life. And if you look at the basic aim of human beings, one of the developmental tasks in psychology also, if you have to remain sane, if you have to achieve glory, if you have to achieve immortality, this is important that the society, the nation which has, see, who are giving you? The parents, your teachers, the society, nation. These people have great contribution in your life. Although for a few of the teachers it has merely remained a business, it is important. See, you have to understand it from this perspective, because that can also be asked. It is a mere business when people are running only after money, but when in lieu of the services provided to you, if anyone, suppose we conducted our puja at home and we paid the services, for the services of the priest, the panditji, we paid the money. Now it is not a business. The person is doing the hard work, you are paying for it. But if the person is unethically running only after money, then it is not a duty with a value. Likewise, parents doing their duty unconditionally. Parents are the only people on the earth whom you will find are giving you things unconditionally, largely. They also have foundations, so it's not always unconditioned, but largely they are giving you love unconditionally. Teachers, the teachers with ethics and values, they will try to support you unconditionally with certain foundations, of course. Then the society and nation have also given us a lot many things. The society in which you are living has ensured that you have certain set of values. Nation, we do not value the kind of nation we are living in. If you compare yourself living in a country like India, here you have the freedom of speech and expression. You are free to do as per your wishes. Few restrictions, only if it does not destroy the public order and morality, you are free to express yourself. You are free to wear what you want. You are free to eat what you want to eat. Compare it with the situation which is there right now, what is prevalent in Israel or Palestine. The conflict which is going on in Israel-Palestine, that vicinity. Can you expect anybody to remain sane in that situation? So much of hardships are going on. India has also sent its humanitarian relief. So the nation is giving us a lot. We as a human being should be dutiful enough to give it back to the society. In that perspective, if we talk about the great stalwarts like Ratan Tata, Azim Premji, they are giving back to the society, doing lots of philanthropy. You have to learn from these examples also, which are there in around you. As I told you, wherever there is a Gurudwara, nobody who is in the surroundings or vicinity will go empty stomach. Everybody will have food when they are going to sleep. Now we are coming to our great people. Now what you can learn from Dr. Kalam. APJ Abdul Kalam taught you to dream, to remain disciplined, to remain humble, and despite hardships, overcome hardships. Humility first and foremost, then remain resilient, devotion to the nation, of course, humility, resilience, devotion to the nation, various other things like discipline, and the most important, the simplicity. When Dr. Kalam became president, he was shown the president house. The then secretary of the president, who belongs to an IAS cadre, who is an IAS officer, has written in his book that when Dr. Kalam was shown that there are so many rooms, he said that what will I do with these kind of rooms? I have only stayed in one room throughout my life, single room. There is no use of so many rooms. Give me one room, show me one room where I will be staying, studying. That room I will be using for all purposes. When Dr. Kalam did not remain president after his tenure was over, then the former presidents are given a government accommodation, a vehicle, and various other facilities, security as well. Dr. Kalam said that no, I don't need any of them. I'll be staying in a room, a single room. In a single room I'll be staying. That too will be on rent, and to pay the rent I'll be taking tuitions. But he was informed that there is pension. There is a pension for the president. You need not pay for the rent. Your pension will be there. From the pension he was paying for the rent. The tuitions he started taking free. See the simplicity of the person. If we compare this with another president, Pratibha Devi Singh Patil, when she retired, when she had to leave the office, after that she asked for a better accommodation. The accommodation which she was provided, she was not satisfied with that. Many other things are there. Various people have become president. But see, you remain an immortal human being if you display such humility, discipline, and of course the courage. It's not that the person was not courageous. A person who is the architect of our, who is called the missile man of India, is definitely not a timid man. He is a courageous man, but with a humility. Courage is displayed in various ways. There are people who display their courage by humiliating others. There are people who remain humble but display the courage when it is required. You can see that in the army. These are the most simplest yet sophisticated gentlemen and women in uniform who display the courage whenever required. When the enemy is in front, these people will display the courage like anything. Be robust, be strong. Nobody should be able to touch your fortress, of course, but when pushed to the brink, according to the ethical manner, show the enemy its place. As simple as that. So, I was talking about the presidents, various presidents. It is quite surprising, shocking, that in the tenure of one of the presidents, the President House staff when a person suddenly from the government visited the staff, they were all watching on the screen itself. They were watching some immoral stuff. The staff of the President House. The President was so ignorant. Dr. Kalam said that I don't need so many of the house staff here. Please employ them to some other place. He said that the house staff which is here, better idea is to ensure that they help in the gardening, and there are better flowers and vegetation in our garden, so that people can visit the place. It can be made open to people's visit. These kind of things. There are when you are made a SP of a district. See, India is a poor country. Whosoever, whatsoever says, but India is a poor country largely. It's a country where people are not empowered. People still believe, apart from the urban areas, that police is a force which will be used, judiciary will be used against them, so they feel quite weak in front of this. So when you become an SP of the district, your police force is displaying brutality towards the people who are downtrodden. I told you that you have to always think about the last and the least. If you follow this principle, you will be great. So, some people came to visit you. When you are a district of an SP of a district or a district magistrate, people will not only visit your office, but they will come to your residence as well to meet you. There are some officers who keep an office even in their residence. So when people visit them, common people, common citizens who can barely manage their 2 square meals, they are being harassed by the police. They have visited. There are people who don't talk to them, just shoo them away. There are people who display the humility, meet them, meet each and every one of them. Even if the person with a letter, see what will happen, I'll tell you the reality. These people will go to their MLA, go to their MP from their own constituency, they will get a letter and will meet you with the letter. Whether there is a letter or no letter, it doesn't matter. You should be able to meet each and every one. I have seen this because I have met many of the cabinet ministers also in the previous government and in this government. There are people who sit at 2 a.m. in their office and meet each and every one, whether with a recommendation letter or not, it doesn't matter. They will meet, listen to the grievances carefully, direct their staff to get things done. This is one kind of display of officer who is working in the public interest. There are people like, there was an SP, a very young new city SP in our city. There was some problem of theft of electricity wire. Electric wire itself was stolen in one of the small areas of a district, Patna. Now the police force went there. The people were trying to arrest a young boy. So the mob, they surrounded the police team. The city SP went there, and what did she do was very funny. She herself started fighting with a woman. She slapped the woman slapped her back. After that, of course, she was arrested, but this is not your behavior of SP. This is unbecoming of an officer. While doing training in National Police Academy, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel National Police Academy, Hyderabad, some trainee officers went out when they had a holiday, came back late. While coming back, they picked up a fight with a panwala. This is the panwala. They started fighting with the panwala. Panwala also gave them back in his own way. Whether you are an officer or not, it should be displayed in your humility. I saw while I was going to the PMO, Prime Minister's office, for some work. While going to that road, a security officer was standing here. So one of my colleagues, he is very impressed by the uniform, impressed by the people in uniform. He is a humble person from Tamil Nadu. He did salute this uniformed guy. He displayed the magnanimity of being an officer. He did salute back the person, because when you are in uniform, there is a code of conduct which says that if somebody salutes you, you have to salute back. Even the DGP or commissioner, if somebody salutes them, even if the civilian is there, they will salute back. This is a display of humility. There are these kind of people, and then the conduct which I have shown you. Not long ago, one of the officers placed in UP district, one of the UP district, there was a gardener. In her staff only. While he was gardening the place, there was some dust and all. She came out of the house shouting and started beating the gardener. DM. Straight away. One of the officers visiting a national park drove the vehicle in a rash manner, drunk. A lady officer, district magistrate. So these are the values you don't have to display. You have to, why these values are being taught to you? What is the reason behind it? So that you display the behavior in a manner which does not become unbecoming of an officer in the eyes of the public, in the eyes of your superiors, in the eyes of the constitution. That is why we learn from the great people. Why are we learning? Not just to write an answer. And when you inculcate these values in yourself, when you start becoming an idol, when you think that you are a young person preparing for civil services, so much passionately preparing, you one day will become an officer. When you start behaving like that in your daily life, in your conduct with the people, then the path becomes easier. I was talking to one of the students yesterday only. He told me that a faculty who teaches ethics paper was giving an example of communal violence or communal thought. Now, everybody has a perspective and they are free to express their views. But when you are teaching, you have to be neutral. When you are teaching, you have to accommodate the viewpoints of others as well. That's a scientific temple. So he put up an example of cow vigilantism. Cow vigilantism displayed by the people from a particular party, particular orientation, particular ideology, mostly belonging to RSS. The thing is that this example is fine, but if you look at the other perspective from the other side, don't the minorities display communal thought when you, being a Hindu, offer them prasad? Most of them deny, they don't take it, most of them. Is it not a communal behavior? And you may subscribe to your behavior, but give objective neutral examples. Then if the student is asking, this student who called me, he said that, sir, I asked the question regarding this and he bluntly threw me out of the class. This is none other than one of the most experienced person. If he is displaying this kind of behavior, then how do you think that the behavior of the students will be shaped? You are a role model, you are behaving such kind of arrogant behavior. You may be correct, but the student is asking. You have to answer the question. You have to very gently, politely put the things down. While taking classes, I have also encountered few of the overexcited students who ask their question in aggressive manner. But as a teacher, it is my duty to understand that they are not having any offense against me, but they are just displaying their own thought. So I put it gently. These are the value system you need to display. The questions will not be recorded, mind it. The questions asked to you will never be recorded, but your answer will definitely be recorded in the history if you are a person of eminence and prominence. And those people who have the ability to understand this, they get the eminence and prominence in history. Your conduct has to be gentle yet firm. There is no need to shout, there is no need to be aggressive, there is no need to discourage anyone, there is no need to disrespect anyone. You can most respectfully argue with the person. These values are displayed by the great people like APJ Abdul Kalam. While in a conference, press conference, the press conference was over, he started leaving the stage. Then while he was leaving the stage, when he was down from the stairs, a journalist asked another question, follow-up questions. APJ Abdul Kalam, although he had left the stage, he stayed there. He sat on the stairs himself and he answered the question while sitting on the stairs. See the humility of the person who is one of the greatest architects of Indian space and missile program. We learn from these people. Ratan Tata, the humility of the person, we have already talked about it. Recently only, Mr. Narayan Murthy was traveling. Along with him, there was Kareena Kapoor, the Bollywood actress. She was also traveling. I think we might have dealt with this example. Mr. Narayan Murthy, he observed that whosoever is coming to meet Kareena Kapoor, she is not obliging with humility. She is actually annoyed and she is displaying an arrogant, aggressive behavior towards them. Whereas Narayan Murthy, whosoever came to meet him, he displayed humility. He stood up from his chair. He was also seen touching the feet of Mr. Tata in full public view, because he was displaying respect for the elder. See, you should not touch anybody's feet just out of that courtesy, but if it comes from within you, you must do. That humility we learn. Have you seen, we can learn from anyone. It is not only that the reformers. Have you seen this man? His behavior in public. He is so dignified, respectful, humble towards each and every man and woman. Especially he has that civility towards women. What we call this? Chivalry. Displaying respect towards women. A gentleman's conduct. Not only in words, but in your action as well. He was seen, he was going to meet one of his friends. While going to the house, there were some constables, lady constable, who was standing there. He was bowing down to them as well, giving respect to everyone around him or her. So much of a respect for each and every one. See, your true test of being a good or bad human being, whether you are a good human being or a bad human being, will be answered by one question. Have you made the person who is around you feel greater than you? If somebody is surrounding you, you are a person here, somebody around you, whether they are your relatives or somebody who is unknown to you, if they are in your vicinity, if you are showing them that you are greater than me, you are greater than me, asking about their lives, asking for their well-being, that will leave a lasting imprint in their mind, and they will be trustworthy and loyal towards you. They will remember you, and you will also display the humility which is required for a human being to become great. Don't make them feel little. You are visiting a restaurant, there are waiters and waitresses. Going to a hotel, there are staff. You are a director of an institute, there are teachers working for you, there are staff working for you. You are showing utmost respect to each and every one. That is the display of humility and humanity. So, apart from what we have discussed from the the people we have discussed, the examples we have given. You have to absorb these values by your observation. Inculcate these values, then it will be displayed in your answers, both in ethics answer and your essay answers. It will have much more conviction and it will help you in your interview as well. It will help you throughout your journey of career civil servant, because our main goal is to become a good human being. That will serve all the purpose. Now we will move to our topic, methods of teaching values. Methods of teaching value. Yeah, methods of teaching. Yeah, as rightly pointed out by Aditya, that you can see the behavior of Jaya Bachchan, who appears to be so stressed up, arrogant, outspoken, that does not give a good feeling. She does not appear to be a humble person at all. Don't be like her. Howsoever stressed you might be, you are a public figure, you have to display the humility. So, methods of teaching values. We have already seen this, but we will do it again so that it remains with you. See, there are basically three ways of teaching values. Now, why it is important to teach value, we have understood, because values are the important principles which ensures ethical conduct. Through the values you get moral ethical judgment. Through the values you ensure the smooth functioning in your private life and your public life. That is why we are teaching values. Now, how can it be taught, and why are we focusing on this topic? Because we have to teach values to whom? To the children. Children will, again I am saying, children will not learn what you told them, what you tell them. Children will learn what you make them see, what they observe. Whatever they see, they will imitate. They will observe and they will imitate. Copy it, as simple as that. Like monkeys copy, children also copy. Whatever you do. So, the method of teaching is one, your direct method, then your indirect method, direct, indirect, and another one, integrated method or systematic method. Now, going by the trend of the question, the UPSC is not interested in asking what are the methods of teaching values. Nobody will ask you. The ethics paper, the complexity of ethics paper is increasing day by day, and nobody is interested in knowing only the definitions. So, there is no point delving deep into the theoretical aspects, but understanding the practical implications more and more. Under the direct method, a teacher, school teacher, college teacher, your parents, they can teach you through the curriculum and the stories especially. In the curriculum there is a lesson. In our times there used to be a separate class for moral science. Moral science, we had a book of moral science. And otherwise also, in our home there were books of Panchatantra, Panchatantra is written by Vishnu Sharma. He has given so many stories. In the curriculum we were learning moral science. We had an exam to write. We had to write so many theories and examples. Then stories can be told by parents. Your grandmother, grandfather, your parents, they all teach some stories which inspires you, which we have seen it works in a fantastic manner. If you remember the concept of psycho-cybernetics, where whatever you suggest, your subconscious mind will remain with you. And if you remember and you can connect creatively this concept to your need for achievement. See, this is what is required, connecting the topics, not reading 10 books about one topic. That is the duty of the teacher, maybe that is the duty of the PhD aspirant, but not suggestible for you or as a student, and neither should the teachers do. That is unethical. So we talked about two things. These are topics of psychology, of course. We will not use it directly, but to understand our perspective, we are bringing that. One is your psycho-cybernetics, that is, this is your human mind, and human mind functions based upon the feedback given to the subconscious mind especially. So what you speak about yourself when you are alone, what you think about yourself when you are alone, that is, what do you feel about yourself, what do you think about yourself, it's displayed in the environment as well. If you respect yourself, others will respect you, as simple as that. If you value yourself, others will value you. So the feedback you give to your mind, that I am capable, I am confident, I have integrity, I have honesty, then you start moving towards a successful journey. Success starts here. So the values which we are learning in form of the stories, these are nothing but the suggestions to our subconscious mind, which is built during our childhood through the stories, folklores. This subconscious mind suggestion comes through folklores. That is, the stories told by you, your grandparents, parents, teachers around, that remains in your subconscious mind. That shapes your successful or unsuccessful behavior. If these stories are full of fear, guilt, then you will always be feeling guilty about yourself. You will always be feeling that I have to be fearful, I am full of guilt. You will be towards the path of failure. And that lays the foundation for another concept which is called need for achievement. The stories of the Western societies which are developed ones, the developed world, it was done by McClelland. McClelland's theory says that in the Western societies, the folklore itself is oriented towards achieving. Here what we believe in, not achieving things, but acquiring things, kabja. Acquiring things or getting it in your ancestral property, Here nobody asks who you are, but everybody will ask you who your father is, who your mother is, ancestors, then how much you have acquired, the Kabja approach. They will not ask you how much you have achieved. So the value inculcation takes place largely through your curriculum, but most importantly, significantly through the stories. And these stories are nothing but the suggestion to your subconscious. So in our times we had moral science and Panchatantra, where there were stories which gave ethical dilemma in the when we were children. Now UPSC has brought it in the syllabus. When we were children, we used to study this. Even in 5th or 6th class, ethical dilemma used to be there. In that Panchatantra, Vishnu Sharma has given so many stories where you will find there are moral dilemmas. There used to be serials like Vikram Betal, where the Betal used to ask Raja Vikramaditya, King Vikramaditya, this is your moral dilemma, how will you solve? Through that solution, lots of value inculcation along with the efficient solution of the problem used to come. We had serials like where Tenali Rama, Birbal, their shrewd but ethical conduct through which they solved the most complex of the problems was there in the storybooks itself. What has happened in the society of late is that these values have left us. The society no more has these kind of values. That is why it is not displayed in the literature, in the movies. You see nowadays which movies work, where movies which are popular are your Andhadhund. Where the fraudest of the person who is the most fraud is lauded as the best hero. So you see what is happening. Decline of values is reflected in your literature, reflected in your conduct in real life, it is reflected in your movies. That is why there is no moral values in the curriculum itself, and the story is also not available, not many. Due to the depleting values, as we have seen why we are studying this paper, ethics, integrity and aptitude, because of the depleting values we are studying this now. So directly it needs to be told by the parents and teachers by inculcating, including the value books in the curriculum, then telling them the stories. Further, there is an indirect way. First was your direct way, now it is indirect way. How it is displayed in an indirect manner, how values can be taught in indirect manner when they are very small. To an old age home, to an orphanage. Orphanage or old age home. Children will be sensitized about first they will get to know that they have got the parents around, so they are very lucky. This is also very important to have the feeling of gratitude. We don't display that we have the parents, we have the most loving parents around us, we have the most supportive teachers around us. We don't respect that. Because of that, there is a feeling of scarcity, relative deprivation. We feel relatively deprived. But if we get this feeling, Visit the orphanage, we see that parents are not there, nobody is there to support the children. We are so lucky. We visit the old age home, we realize that how important it is to respect the elders, not to leave them in that situation where they don't have anybody to tell their stories. This is indirect method of value inculcation. Direct method, curriculum and your stories. Indirect method by having the first hand experience. I'll tell you a story. A rich father thought that let's do one thing. He carried his child to a village. In village, what was there? What the father's perspective was that there is poverty, illiteracy. The child will see all these things, and then child will be thankful towards the father that you have given me a very good life. The child visited the village, and after the visit was over, the father asked, "What did you see?" The child says, "There was one plate in which there was food. Not enough food, of course, but everyone was eating from the same plate," displaying the affinity towards each other, the family bond. Happiness is not bound to any of the resources we have. Happiness is bound how we appreciate what we have. Before eating, they all prayed to the God, gratitude. This also the child saw that in our home nothing like this happens. We throw away lots of food. Then he saw that after the food they all went for a small stroll, walk. They slept very peacefully. Despite the fact that there were mosquitoes and all, they all dozed off very easily. Many people eat sleeping pills. They take sleeping pills. Despite the fact that they have got the best of the resources in this world, they have to take the sleeping pills. There are people who work very hard throughout their day. They eat like anything. They have no sugar, no diabetes, nothing. They will eat 1 kg rice. They will eat 2 kg meat in one go. Everything they will be able to digest easily. Why? Because they are working so hard, being able to sleep very well. They don't have any confusion in their mind because they have not cheated anyone. See, everyone knows. If not others, your conscience knows that you are doing something wrong. But still you continue with it. The people with the smallest, the least concern for the conscience have the greatest difficulties while going to sleep. The child saw that the happiness, the father's perspective also changed. I'll tell you another story. A child used to go to school. One day, the father had some work, so he did not take the child to drop him off to the school. The mother drove the child to the school. When the journey was over, he asked his mother, "Mama, there were no stupid, foolish idiots in our journey, but when I come with the dad, We encounter so many stupid people. He keeps on saying, abusing all of them. The mother said, during our journey, I also saw many of them who were not behaving properly, but I did not abuse any of them because I realized that like I am in hurry, they are also in hurry. Empathy. Empathy for the concern of others. The mother is at peace with herself. That is why she is not displaying this aggression. She is not displaying this filthy, uncouth behavior towards others. Others will be behaving rashly. But if you just have that humility and ability to appreciate others' context, you will realize that probably they were also not wrong. This is highest form of justice. This sensitization of the child which happened gives us a lots of lessons, that it is not the harshness of life but our reaction to it that creates problems for us. If we look at it with simplicity, if we look at it with humility and empathy, we will realize their life is not that complex. Indirect method. Integrated way. Third is your integrated way. And you see, I'll just give you an example. The way we are dealing ethics, integrity and aptitude. Largely what happens, because you must know how you are better than your competitors, that gives an edge to your self-esteem, keeps you confident. Largely the ethics integrity paper is being taught by people who have never appeared for ethics paper and who definitely don't have any ethics because they are scolding the students in the class. So they are teaching based on the study material given, so many points given, all the details given in form of written, few examples also given, but they are not able to understand it because the stories are not there. They don't have the stories. They have do the full ratification of their notes, keep on blurting them out. That approach does not work in life. So integrated method says something remarkable, significant. Integrated method says that make your home, make your school, college and society itself full of ethical, moral conduct, where values are there in the air. Values are there everywhere. If the values are there in the environment, in the ecosystem, that will be the best form of learning. The child is at home, understands that parents are there. So the child will do what? Learn through modeling. They will copy the behavior of both father and mother, especially the mother, because we inculcate most of the values, whether we agree to it or not. Most of the values we ingrain in our life are dependent upon the values displayed by our mother. So, modeling, they model the behavior of the parents. The parents, their style of parenting, the way they parent you, that defines how you inculcate values. Like, if you if you see the parents who are democratic in nature, democratic parents, or you can use another word, the parents who are empathetic, those who listen to you carefully, communicate with you on a regular basis. When you come back from the school, they ask you what was the thing which you enjoyed throughout the day, what was something you did not like, and that can save many children from harassment as well. They will display this communication, they will communicate with the parents that this is the thing I did not like, so they will be able to understand. The small children are at a risk of being abused, harassed of both the gender because of the cruelty which is prevalent in the society. So, if you have parents who listen to you carefully, who don't judge you, you will also be the same. You will also display the same kind of sensitivity in your intimate relationships later on, as we have seen in our psychology understanding as well. The kind of attachment, when the attachment is organized, when the attachment is based on empathy, clear communication, without judging the child, then the child will display the value of empathy more easily. In the homes where the parents are rejecting, in low socio-economic status homes, largely, generally, they are rejecting parents, they don't worry about the child at all. Then the homes where the parents are authoritarian, they are like Hitler, you have to follow the discipline. The children will display the same behavior later on. We have talked about modeling the behavior of the parents, the style of the parenting, the rituals, cultural values and rituals displayed by parents will be inculcated by the children. Parenting style, modeling by the child, rituals and values displayed by the parents, they all shape the value system of the child. Now the child goes to the school. Home we have already done, to the school or the college, both of the places we learn lots of values. You see the language. In our times, I'm not saying that our times were, I'm that old coming from the era of dinosaurs, but you see the language, it may be displayed, there might be places where it is displayed even now. The values of chivalry, being respectful towards women. Then if there were people who were very well dressed, who were into the fashion, they were very passionate in their clothing sense, they were fashionate, we used to call them flamboyant. Flamboyant. Now you see what kind of language people use. For the same set of people who dress well, especially the men who are like metrosexual, same kind of people will be called chhapri. Now we call them chhapri, and various other words are used. Chhapri, what kind of language is this? The people who are when they are of the tender age, they are displaying the sense of love and romance. So they are called Nibba Nibbi. You see the change in the language. We used to call them lovebirds. Now they are being called Nibba Nibbi, Chapri. While coming out of the institute which we are going to place offline center, while coming out of the center, some students were coming to meet me. Those whom I did not know, they were going to meet me for the first time. The kind of language which they were using while entering the gate, I was leaving the gate. I was quite shocked that they are the budding civil servants. So in the school and colleges, the teacher, the peer group. Peer group, I have already shown you. Teachers, again the teachers are also, obviously there is a depletion of moral values. One of the teacher teaching on one of the online platforms was using such a derogatory language towards the downtrodden caste. You are a teacher, whatever you say, the way you behave, your conduct will be imbibed by many of the students, whether they are preparing for civil services, banking, SSC or whatsoever. If they are school children or college going adolescents, everyone will imbibe your values. Be careful, be sensitive. So your teachers will shape your values, you will inculcate many of the values. One of my students, he messaged me that while you are taking classes, I have recorded some audio clips and video clips which were inspiring for me. Whenever I am down, I am feeling demotivated, I listen to them, I feel energized. The same thing told by one of the students. She told me that, sir, your voice itself inspires me. It is not to say that I am somebody great. I am just a teacher, a plain simple teacher, just being honestly doing my duty. There are other teachers also who are doing it better than me also, and they are doing it dutifully in the right manner. This is the duty of the teacher, display such values so that people are inspired. Your pupils must be inspired by your life journey, by your simplicity, by your conduct, by your teachings as well. The excellence should be displayed in the teaching, yes, of course, but your conduct should also be ethical, moral. Should be an inspiration, a source of inspiration. During our times, our physics teacher used to be an inspiration for us. So likewise, the teacher, the peer group, you see your peer group? The language used by the peer group itself will be so rustic, uncouth. Your schools and colleges. Now we come to the society. You look at the society. The real reflection of society is in the movies you watch, the series you watch. There are two sets of values being displayed in our social media nowadays. One set of people who are talking about sensitization, sustainable practices, sensitive towards the issues, various issues, whether it comes to your third gender, whether it comes to being open to the challenges of life like adversities. The second set of media is polarized and vulgar. You see why we are suffering from the value confusion as a society. Because in our rituals, religious practices, we have given women status comparable to goddess, status of goddess. Look at the display in our behavior, in the media, complete objectification. When you see a personality, we are always told to see the body language of the person. Unfortunately, in case of women, this language part does not take place. We remove that just to put the point in context. So what is happening? There is value confusion. We are moving towards hypocrisy. In our home, we are taught that we have to use a civilized language. You go out on the road, go to any university campus, see any movie of the current day or any Netflix series and all, you will see the kind of abuses being hurled every now and then. The more the abuse is, the better the series. The more the violence, the better the series. So it all is leading us towards a situation called systematic desensitization. Our sensitization towards an issue which required our empathy has lost its sense. Look at one of the examples. While visiting a zoo, a person fell into the den of tiger. In the tiger den, the person who was trying to shoot from the camera, he fell in the den. The tiger is approaching the person. So many people, bystanders who were here, they were seeing it, onlookers, but none of them informed the emergency team. None of them created a ruckus, chaos for calling the response team. They were all filming it on their mobile camera. What is happening here? Systematic desensitization. Whereas what would have happened in a society if everyone is displaying the same set of values? There would have been integrated learning. Children, youngsters would have learned it, and you know what would have happened? If the children are learning the right values, Children learn not to lie, not to steal. They come back home, they learn it in the school, in the society, or through an ethical teacher or a coach. They learn to remain resilient, they learn to remain courageous. They come back home, they see the parents are not displaying any such behavior. They are saying to the parents themselves, what are you doing? I have studied, I have learned that there is no point lying. We should always speak truth, and you are lying. You are telling me whenever a neighborhood uncle comes, you have to say that the father is not at home. I am not going to say that. Now what will happen through this? It will create a dissonant thinking. Dissonant thinking. We call it fondly cognitive dissonance in our psychology, but we will not use those terms. Remember, we have to use simplified terms. Get the sense from psychology, of course, it will be helpful. And now, here I find it really surprising that despite the fact that there are people who are learning psychology so well, and if they have learned those things which are there to be used in ethics, why they are performing poorly in ethics paper? Because they are using psychology and ethics as taught by few teachers. That is the problem. You have to teach ethics, integrity, aptitude, not psychology here. Attitude is there in our syllabus. It does not mean that you have to teach all the theories of attitude, balance theories, cognitive dissonance. That is the expertise of psychology. Display there, not here. So, dissonant thinking. What is dissonant thinking? Your set of values is that you have to be pragmatic, practical. So you don't want to meet a certain person and tell the child that just inform uncle that I am not here. But the value system which your child has inculcated is that you have to be honest, not to lie. This will create not only the dissonance in your mind that if I display such behavior, the children will become indisciplined and you will better change your behavior. It is a two-sided journey. The family influencing the society and the society influencing the family. In between or as a part of this or a bridge is your schools. So in an integrated manner, if we are able to display the values in the environment, in the ecosystem itself, then it will become much more successful. Unfortunately, that is not the case. By citing the practical examples in the direction which I have shown you, I am not again saying that you have to write all the examples. Whosoever says that teacher is unethical. The example gives you a direction in which you have to think. Absorb the examples from your surroundings, from your family members, from your teachers, from your peer group, from your schools, colleges, the journey of your life. Write it down in your page, then write it in the examination. You will be getting much more marks in ethics paper and essay paper both. And in your paper 2 of any optional I am saying. Direct, indirect and integrated method. In the integrated comes your home, school, colleges and society. You can write all the examples of constitution, examples of bylaws and laws, examples from media. To exercise your point that how values are shaped. But largely, if we simplify the process, this is you, your parents, your teachers, your peer group, these are the dimensions from whom you learn the values. To cut short the story, within the peer group, if you are a student, will come your friends. If you are a working person, then your colleagues. This will include your seniors and subordinates all here. So you track your journey as a child, then as adults, and then further. In this journey, the actors you encounter, like various people who have influenced your life, you will be able to get lot many examples. As an exercise, you can do it in your home. We will take up next chapter of attitude tomorrow at 9:45 am. Thank you very much for joining. Have a great day.